Hello everybody, welcome to Exploring the Haunted. Tonight we are here at Shrewsbury Prison. I have brought my team not only to one of the most oldest prisons in the UK, but also one of the most haunted. We have been given 4 hours in this amazing location, not only to explore the history of this place, but also to document if the inmates are still around to this day. Tonight's special is exclusively from Shrewsbury Prison, which was built in 1793 and for the past 200 years was home to thousands of criminals. The Victorian prison that you see today sits on top of the original Georgian prison. The now disused platform 8 at the train station, which sits right next door to the Shrewsbury Prison, is now masked by a high wall and was used for transporting prisoners between 1868 and the First World War. In 1902 and 1961, 7 people were executed by hanging within the walls of Shrewsbury Prison. The latest, George Riley, was only 21 when he was hung in 1961 for the murder of his neighbour. The prison within that time has housed some very famous inmates. One in particular was Robert Welsh, a once great train robber who spent some time within the prison cells, and another notorious inmate was an inmate famously nicknamed Dr. Death. His name was Sidney Noble. Another famous inmate, which you have seen on the telly, is Ricky Tomlinson. Since its closure in 2013, Shrewsbury Prison is now a historical tourist attraction. However, Shrewsbury Prison is known for its hauntings, and as Stacey, our tour guide, will now recite some of the ghost stories that now lie in part 1 of this Bonfire Night special. Enjoy.
So here is probably one of the first ghost stories I'm going to bring you to. Basically, we had Holby City in, it's going on a while now, about 5 years ago roughly. And the site manager, so the locations manager who goes around looking for sites for the BBC, was coming round. And they were on an early shift, so he was here about 6 o'clock in the morning, so it was quite early. And they were doing some things on A-Wing, so they were setting up for the day's shoot on A-Wing. And he saw a lady walk past A-Wing, and there's a little gate that we'll take you to in a bit, so there was a gate there. So he saw this lady walk past. Now there was no other actors, there was no one else on site, it was just him and a couple of other people. Now those couple of other people were the other side of the site, and he knew that because that was dress. So where all the costumes are, they came in a little bit early so they could sort out costumes. And so he thought, okay, well nobody's supposed to be on this set. So who's that? Because I know everyone that's here and I don't recognise this lady. So he says, excuse me. He gets no answer. So he walks towards where the lady's been seen walking. And he turns the corner, so he comes out later and he turns the corner and the lady's not there. So he thinks, oh, she's gone round the corner. So as he comes round this corner here, he sees a lady. Now, this lady's got her back to him, and he's seeing her walking away. Now, the first thing he says, no, I don't recognise the back of this lady. She is not one of mine. So he didn't think, oh my goodness, ghost. He thought, no one's supposed to be here. This is supposed to be a closed shoot. So he turns around and says, excuse me, again. And then the second thing he noticed was the fact that she was wearing Victorian-style clothing. Now, we've all watched Holby City at one point. We know that there's no Victorian clothing in that show. So that's when he became really, really panicked and he turned around and was like, oh my God, what am I seeing? And then the third thing he noticed that completely and utterly freaked him out was the fact that as she was walking away, she was sinking into the ground. So yeah, as she was sinking into the floor, that's when he became completely and utterly panicked and ran the other way. Yeah, he gave us a call and he turned around and he says, I can't believe what I've just seen. And then we did a little bit of research, and we were doing the tunnel tours at the time, so we were researching for the tunnel tours and getting those up and running, because this was quite early on. And when we stumbled across, because this is the governor's area, so, and before that in the Georgian times it would have been the governor's house, the Victorian times, governor's house. And then after that his office, and that's where he would have had a lot of the staff, so there would have been staff members in there, the deputy governor in there, and then his receptionist in there, and then someone else in there, and then obviously his office was there. Now we knew it was the governor's area, and we found out some research. We went underneath because we knew we could open them up underneath, and then it turns out as we got further into the tunnel we could see a set of stairs.
Where's this thing?
Right underneath that thing.
Right here?
Yeah, right underneath here.
Wow.
So there's a set of stairs. Now obviously it's been blocked off because there's no door here or anything like that, so when we went underneath we got the schematics of the building and stuff like that, and we actually found out. Yeah, to the stairs to nowhere we call it. Walking down to the stairs, and we did a little bit more research, and we actually found out that because this is the governor's house, underneath he actually had a wine cellar. Back then they obviously got an allotted amount of money and they had to use that money. It's not like these days where, you know, the government, but he had a allotted amount of money, and then he would have to split it to his staff, and then obviously to keep the prisoners in the building and keep the built-in maintenance and all that sort of stuff. But he probably would have taken quite a lot of that for himself, and he would have bought lots and lots of wine because he would have been entertaining quite a lot of people. Now back then, if you were quite rich, so if you were in politics, if you were in government or anything like that, if you were in prison or if you were high class, you would have had dinner with the governor, and he would have said, you know what, why don't you go down to my wine cellar and pick a bottle of wine for dinner? So that's what we think. We think that lady's going down the stairs to...
Yeah, have you experienced anything here, paranormal ones?
Within the building?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tell us.
I've seen my fair share that I can't explain.
Yeah.
Now I was 50-50 when I first started working here. I was like, I've seen things that I can't explain growing up. My nan was a medium, so I had quite a lot of spiritual background, and lots of, my dad loved paranormal investigations, so at the weekend as a family we'd go on a paranormal investigation at castles and stuff like that. So and then I came here, and there's a lot of things that I just cannot explain. So Shadow Man, yeah, numerous amount of people have seen Shadow Man. He's a notorious spirit on this wing. He's mainly seen on this wing, especially in this area over here. So he's seen by the stairs. Now we used to have an officer's pod, so an officer's box just where that set of tables is. And there used to be an officer's box just there. And numerous amount of guests have seen him, especially on our ghost tours. When we do ghost tours on a Wednesday night, quite a few of our ghost tour people have come and they've said they've seen him at the end of the wing. We've obviously had paranormal groups that have come in and they've seen exactly the same thing. I think the thing that stands out with him most is the fact how big he is. Now he's not your normal, like, you know, man, smaller size. He's huge. He's massive. He's about the same size as you, so he's a bit bigger, but he's really stocky, so he's quite imposing. And he stands there, and he's never really approached anyone, so he's never come up to anyone, but as soon as people see him, they know they've seen him. And he's not... I think the reason why people find him intimidating is because of his size. And the fact that you don't actually see any facial figures or anything like that. You just see this cookie-cutter shape of this silhouette of this man. Now we were doing a ghost tour. This is probably one of the most significant. I'll tell you the second one is, but this one's the most significant. So we were doing a ghost tour, and one of the staff members was standing on the stairs talking to the group. There was about 35 people on this group. So it's going back about 5 years ago now. So there was a lot of people on this group, and they were all standing around here, and there was a bloke standing about here. And he wasn't really paying much attention to the tour because his eyes were fixed somewhere else. And he was leaning up against the wall. And we not long got all the group back together, because you go into the cells and things like that in the dark, and you feel what the atmosphere is like and things like that. And we'd called the whole group back, and I was sitting around here. So I was standing around here, and he was fixed over there. And he was staring down the end of the wing, just staring. Now, my colleague got quite worried about him because of the fact that he was obviously distressed. Now, the little bit of light that we did, his body language was changing, so she decided to stop the tour. And she said to the bloke at the back, she said, "Are you okay, sir?" And he turned around and said, "Yeah. She said, "Is that everyone here?" And she said, "Yeah, I've done a head count. Everyone's back here." He said, "Okay then, well, who the hell is that?" Standing right at the back of the side.
Could everyone see what he was seeing?
And then everyone turned round and they could see a man standing at the back. Now my colleague saw him first, because obviously she was facing this way already. So she fixed her eyes up and she could see this man standing there. At that moment she was like, and she couldn't talk. There's nothing came out of her mouth because she was going to say excuse,
Fear, yeah.
but she was too scared because she knew
Shock,
she
isn't it?
counted everyone here, and the fact that he was so big. She hadn't seen anything yet because she hadn't started for very long, so she hadn't seen anything yet. So this was her first encounter of a spirit as well. So she'd never seen anything. You know, she's worked around Shrewsbury before, so you know, Shrewsbury prolific for his paranormal. And she's worked in other places, and this one, she said that's the first time she's ever seen anything. Now the whole group turned around and went, so they gasped. And then as soon as that spirit, shadow man, realised that he was being seen, he actually shuddered himself. He went, "Oh," and stepped. Now he stepped behind the officer's box, and then we didn't see him come out the other side, and we didn't see him through the window, because obviously the officer's box is just like the top one just there, so it's got a pan round of windows so you can see through. We didn't see him through there. We didn't see anyone move to the back of the site. We didn't see anyone across, but at that moment, the light to the exit to the yard switched on. Now that's automatic. You have to walk underneath it.
It's emotion
yeah. So that went off. Now, obviously, we naturally thought, no, there's got to be someone out there.
Yeah.
So we went, we looked, and there was nobody there. There's another ghost tour that we're on. They see that when we've got a ghost tour, you've got about 30 to 25 people, like lots of energy and stuff like that. And obviously, when they come on these tours, they wanna see something. Yeah. But it was a particularly windy day, and the back of the door kept slamming shut. Now it was scaring everyone, including myself. It kept making me jump. So I thought, you know what? I'll just get a doorstop just until the tour is over, and then I'll remove the doorstep when we go to the kitchen. So I went heading down this bit here, and I got to where the bin is just there. And I was looking at the back because I was really, all of a sudden I felt really uneasy, like ridiculously uneasy, and my heart started to race, and I was like, I'm not usually this anxiety-ridden about going down a very dark corridor. I'm usually fine. I walk around this building in the dark myself, you know, it's absolutely fine, but I started getting anxiety. So I turned around to my colleague and I was like, I don't like the feeling down here, it's a little bit weird. And then she shouted, "Stacey, stop!" And I was like, bear in mind I was still looking back that way, and I was like, why? And she turned around and she said, "Shadow man is standing right in front of you." And I was like, okay, I'm not going to move. And I could feel this cold breeze right in front of me. Now, it wasn't a window, it wasn't a door or anything like that, because I was nowhere near the door, as you can see. And I felt really, really cold at the front, and I started to get like, okay. And then I span my, you know, in the cartoons, I span my body round, and I just ran back this way. Now, at that time, there was a woman, as soon as Siobhan had said what she said, there was a woman that decided to start taking snaps on her camera straight away. So she was taking snap. And then a few seconds later, after everyone calmed down, because a couple of other people in the tour saw it as well, after everyone had calmed down, we looked at this woman's camera. Now the snap before, there was nothing. Then the snap, and you could see her face in the window of where the pod was. The face of someone. Now there was no one else over there apart from me. And then the snap after, the picture after, there was nothing in there.
So the whole, yeah, I know what you mean. When you're walking around and the light's in front of you, you don't know what's behind you.
So this has gone from very welcoming to very scary very, very quickly. and I mean Ferrari speeds.
Yeah, very.
It's gone very, very quickly. Never ever owned a Ferrari, but you know what I will say?
Go on.
I'm feeling very, very cold.
I feel very cold. I mean, fair. It is an old building.
Yeah, but
there is no breeze.
It's a hell of a lot colder in here.
It is.
It's almost like
Whether it's because it's a bigger area of the prison, I don't know.
it is almost like a change of pace to what we had before. And do you know something? I will say this. It's exciting though.
It is exciting.
It's almost like an adrenaline rush. This is where we are
Actually did an investigation
in the famous A wing.
about suicide in the prison.
So,
because there were
as Stacey, our guide, said, they saw a shadow just here, all the way down that corridor there.
It's starting to be like.
Okay, I'm not even hearing someone. You guys
No, that's definitely a human whistle.
That's not a train.
Can you copy me? Oh my god!
Mate.
Oh my god!
Can I try whistling again, because that's definitely something. You definitely heard that.
Oh my god.
That sounded so much like footsteps.
Yeah. So, we just heard footsteps at this point. And we heard a whistle.
From foosball to bloody shit in pants.
That light's just come on.
That's just come on.
Light's just come on. by
That
itself.
light has just come on by itself.
Is that a motion detection light?
I don't think so.
no.
because we were here. Okay.
We would have been here otherwise. Okay.
You guys.
Okay. So
Jesus Christ, nothing's ever happened like
nothing's ever happened like this. Do you know what, mate? We haven't even got the EMF meter out yet.
What they're doing was.
Can you copy me? Because we heard you.
That's a train.
That's a train.
That's a train.
Oh my god.
That's definitely a train.
Oh my
Yeah,
god.
because that's continuous. That's
Oh my
like.
god.
What we heard before was not a train.
No.
I'm still thinking what the hell this light is doing.
So.
Hang on. That light's just gone off.
That light's just gone off.
Okay, I'm gonna walk over there see if it's motion activated. But I'd like to point out, we were outside here, right?
There's no motion detection.
We are here.
The area.
Okay. So I want you guys to get this. We were here. Oh, wait.
It probably.
Okay,
Yeah.
detected, maybe.
Yeah.
Okay,
That's
okay,
fine.
so we-
Right. Okay. So we've
There's something wrong with
debunked that
Okay.
theory.
Let me whistle.
Go for it.
We can't hear anything bad from that.
That's a car. But we've just heard.
What we heard before that.
Yeah.
There was some kind of bang.
That was a bang.
And we can't hear bangs from outside from here. You can
Oh my god. This is the most scared I've been on location.
You guys, when you've watched these videos before, you know I'm a skeptic. I don't believe any of that stuff. I still don't believe as of yet. Whether I should say that while I'm here, I don't know, but I don't. But I will say that this is the most activity that we've had on any explore that we can physically hear. We had the EMF meter in the library, didn't we? But this is the one where we can actually hear a lot of response. Just for your reference, there's only one other person on site apart from us, and that's the manager tonight, Stacey. She is in an office far away from where we are. She's not leaving that office while we're out doing our thing. So there's no other thing that could be making
I've got this strange urge to go upstairs.
I must not.
Okay.
I've got this strange urge,
Let's go up.
and I don't know why.
You lead the way.
Because I've got Because I've got the bright light.
No, you're just going first because it would be a horrible to break tradition.
Well, I tell you what, Scooby Doo, you'll be going next. My chest, my heart's in my chest at the moment, and it's like, oh my god. Can you copy me again? What the hell was that?
What? Did you see?
Shadow on this end of the corridor. I'm not gonna lie, I'm not liking this. I don't like being spooked by anything, but on my previous...
About this much supposed activity so quick.
Well, to be quite honest, mate, whenever I've been on your shoots, right, and on the previous locations, I haven't really been spooked, shall I say?
No, I mean, I've heard a few things and seen a few things, but nothing that would be determined as anything that...
So I've seen a shadow just here. That's what I saw, and it was a shadow just here.
Can I give you a challenge then?
Go on.
I'll tell you what. How about the three of us
Sit in the cell.
sit in a cell?
What if we sit in separate cells?
Let's try together.
Oh yeah, can you imagine Scooby-Doo here?
Ben, can you join us and close the door?
Okay.
Without actually closing it, because if it does clink shut, then we're completely bowed. You saw the shadow?
Yeah.
Just outside this cell.
Just outside this cell.
Now, try something else apart from just whistling. Try.
Do you want me to do my river
Okay,
dance?
guys, that door is moving. I'm almost going to do it, because I swear that door just moved about a centimetre by itself, and that's a heavy ass fucking door. Excuse the French, but oh my god.
Really?
Really? This door, I don't want to go in there now. It was there, okay? I know because I put my finger there to make sure I wasn't closing, and it just literally kind of just by itself just opened like about a centimetre, watched my own goddamn eyes. And I was like, okay, maybe, but it was still. And that's a heavy ass door, excuse the French.
Do you river dance?
Can you do this? Oh my god!
Right, what did I tell you about shouting? You have to
Oh my god! That's...
Why am I the last person out of this cell? There's someone who didn't actually hear that. I'll try and amplify it in the end, but we actually heard
a bang.
quite a significant bang when Matty did his old river dance. Do it again, Matty.
Can you copy me? So, we heard a bang after I did my usual river dance, as I always call it, the Michael Flatley. Can you copy me?
I think that probably has something to do with the vibration.
Yeah, I think that.
Try again. See if you can make that replicate that again. Yeah.
Yeah, vibration.
Yeah. See, that's one thing that we will not do, and that is fake anything.
Well, since we're on level 2, or level 1, slam one of the doors for us. Frighten us.
Why slam the door? Why not just make a little ticking sound?
Now, Stacy said about a lad called Larry! We are going to be going up towards the most haunted cell. And the most haunted cell is upstairs on C Wing. We've also got an opportunity to go around this, which is the Georgian prison.
The electrics, all this stuff is all switched off.
It's all switched off and it's always not used.
There you go, it's
Oh
red.
shit, let's go back. And we're in the middle of the goddamn room here on brickwork.
And it's red.
Oh my god, that's maxing out.
Prompt
No?
anything.
No.
You heard something on C-Wing?
I heard a woman's voice on the ceiling coming from my office.
Let's put that, okay,
Oh my
there's a
God.
point where we